take 3. So it's been 2 years to the day since I ended my podcast, TSC Talks, which was something I really put a lot of my heart and soul into. And today I felt compelled to put together a little reel summarizing some of the highlights of my last, or actually second to last episode, because I ended up reopening and revisiting the podcast with Justin Leslie. I felt compelled to do that. So you can look at that final podcast. But the one before that, wrapping it all up, summarizing what I was the points I was trying to get across with a challenging condition that's a rare disease, genetic condition, tuberous sclerosis complex, causes benign tumors to grow in different organs, all the vital organs in the body. And many are born with it. 50% autosomal dominant hereditary. I have 3 offspring affected, and I've witnessed a complete, incredible, and crazy trajectory in the medical system that we have with them. And coming to a lot of awarenesses that podcast helped me to process, starting out interviewing my kids, how they were handling having this rare disease that was diagnosed before birth for 2 of them. And have really gaining awareness as I went along the path of the influences and the variable factors that kind of made it more challenging and made it better. And that's what the podcast was about. So from my kids to interviewing parents to interviewing more professionals and doctors that were interacting with the condition. So getting different perspectives and then getting it to more alternative. The cannabis industry, looking outside just the physicality and the medical part of the condition. And then realizing the impact of the vaccines and environmental toxins, and how much more impacted many that have a family history are in the generations going forward now, with the increased vaccine schedule and more other variables too, but really being frustrated going back. And it's funny because I went through all the paperwork that I have for my kids yesterday. We've had some downtime because both our cars broke down, and we're in this huge period of transition in our family. And so going through all the paperwork that I had from over the years for my kids and their doctor's appointments and their surgeries and their treatments and their MRIs and all the stuff that is involved, and the educational stuff and the advocacy. Yeah, and it's just a lot. I had it on this great big plastic bin. I just went through it page by page. And a lot of it jumped out at all the vaccines that I liked to get before I had any clue about them. Like all the flu shots, the HPV vaccines, on top of their TSC. And then looking back at that 4-month juncture with that DTP vaccines and the infantile spasms that started in 3 of them right on cue, right when they got that second round for DTP vaccines. Coming to terms with that, seeing like now how there's all these studies and new ways to find little minutia within the diagnosis to profit off of with pharma, and not looking at the whole picture, just getting more and more green, more and more in the weeds. You need to bust out and look beyond and realize that this is so much more than a physical thing. And there are many ways that we can enhance quality of life that don't involve pharmaceuticals. And I'm certainly not saying to drop your meds or to ignore your doctors, because we have run so far into the fire here with conditions like this. We can't just pull out and jump into holistic medicine. That's risky. And I tried it and it was rough. So being aware that we are pretty far invested in the dependence on the medical system with a lot of these types of conditions, and balancing that with the knowing that a lot of it has been for profit for just, I don't even know what, but some kind of fear of not seeing the bigger picture and focusing on like a lot of fear with the catching of these rare childhood diseases that can be treated now, and vaccinating people that are already vulnerable, flipping some kind of genomic switch. So their manifestations and their experience of conditions that in prior generations were really wild, or they weren't such a cognitive impact in it all. Like, that's great to find better ways to improve little aspects of it. But I think until we uh, acknowledge that maybe stopping or spacing out or just looking at the fact of you're freaking ejecting this population over and over, top of the toxins and the foods, and the trauma that we're not looking at. There's just, that's one variable we across the board with everybody. They've got people, I'd say, 1% of the people that have it probably got a whole schedule in recent years, and it's just getting complicated over Rooski. And I see the articles from the big pharma and the market research about how sort of it's going to blow up. I just think so much of it is downstream from these injections. Just being hot. I've seen it by own kids, and I won't say it with regret because I'm here sharing it. And there's so much more to having the experience of someone that chooses to come in and have this kind of a diagnosis. And it's like angels descending. It's a gift. It's a gift. And I would say that it's a tough gift. It's rocky. As a parent and the generations that are impacted, let's take a look at things that might actually just blow up in the way they improve quality of life exponentially just by examining something like a variable that we all experience, like the vaccines. So, yeah, I'm stuck on that a little bit. And it's the 2-year anniversary for the podcast. So that's where I'm at now. Keep out, y'all.